Welcome back to the No Off Season Podcast. This is the College Football Week 5 preview. I'm Ryan Rohally here with Nathaniel Rohally. And it's like a...
You know we're a quarter away through the season. College football's almost over already. I hate to break it to you.
I don't think of it like that. I still got games that I'm looking forward to, so I don't want to think like that.
It's flying by, man.
Week 5's here. And it's like a... if Week 4 was your drug, you're about to go on your... what is it called? You're having withdrawals this week, I would say.
I don't think you need to go that extreme.
Well, I mean, this week's not great. It's kind of like week 3 in that mixture. I mean, there's some good games. There's always going to be like 1 to 2 good games, but like it's not like last week where you're from 11 to
right. You're just coming down off that high of that drug.
Yeah,
that's when you come down.
Yeah, so you're not going to get that many good games this week, but so I don't think you're going to get a lot out of this week as much as you would hope. There's certain teams that you will say
you could say this people will say it every week, but there'll be an upset somewhere along the lines this week that'll happen that will change the outlet.
But I'm just saying, like, there's tests for like a couple teams, right? And then that's where you go, all right, this is where you put the cement. This is like a marker in that moment, right? Like Texas right now, this is their big week to see where I put them in put them in my mind. Like right now, they're 3. They're 3 in the AP, 5 in the coach, right?
Yeah.
So like in my mark, I'm like, all right, do they deserve that spot, or are they more in between like the 7 and the 15 mark, like that type of thing? Because Kansas is a very dangerous team. We'll get into that in a second, but like that, how does Notre Dame recoup after the devastating loss to Ohio State? Going to play Duke this week. Is Duke gonna play well?
Holy shit!
Oh, wait.
Oh my God! I think you have to pause it right now.
No.
What the hell?
Well, we can just talk about this right now. Dame Lillard has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks in a 3-team deal with the Suns and the Blazers. So let me go.
Aiden's gone then.
Aiden's got to be gone. Let's see what's going on here.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, we are getting sidetracked. This is the college football talk, but this is breaking news.
Is he going to play for the Bucks?
I don't know if he's going to play for the Bucks.
Drew got traded. That's not a good deal for the Bucks. They traded Drew.
Drew Holiday's going to the Blazers. DeAndre Ayton to the Blazers. To money. Oh God!
What the hell
Kamara,
did you guys do? Oh my God!
Cap space. We need cap space. We got Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little,
Keon Johnson. You couldn't even get like Shaden Sharp or something like that from that went in trade.
No, we got Little.
Jeez. Wow, that was bad timing for this.
Bad timing for the podcast. Never thought I'd see the day Dame Lillard just gets randomly traded. But
and it wasn't to Miami. Now the question is he going to play?
Do you want him to play in Milwaukee?
And I don't even think that's that big of an upgrade. It's crazy to say.
I was about to say, like...
Drew was their best defender.
You're trading defense for offense. And we know NBA is made off spacing, and, like, Giannis needs the ball in his hand, too.
Like, when they play Miami, they're just going to try to outscore him, I guess, because... Jimmy Butler, like, they would put Drew on Jimmy a lot. They don't really have somebody to guard Jimmy in the play, but that's the whole NBA. All right.
Whole NBA discussion, breaking news. Dame Lillard has gone to the Milwaukee Bucks during the podcast.
Wow.
That's the biggest headline. The Suns were also in part of that 3-team trade to get rid of that big contract that DeAndre Ayton has. That's kind of disappointing in my mind. You shout out
U of A.
Shout out U of A. Shout out DeAndre Ayton. I still think you're one of the best centers in the league, even though whatever they can say what they want. You needed to leave anyways. But neither here nor there. I'm gonna miss you, DA. Good luck at Milwaukee or Portland. Portland, you're in Portland now. But let's get back on track here. We can ask this question. I saw Unnecessary Roughness, and I kind of like the question.
Okay. Shout out Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah. Who's been your most, like, not, I wouldn't say disappointing team, but team that you thought would play better and just doesn't look like it?
Iowa.
Iowa?
For me.
For you, that was quick.
For me, it's Iowa.
That was very quick.
Fucking so disappointed in that Penn State performance they put together. They had a bunch of injuries, but still not even having 100 yards. Like, I thought it'd be a different Iowa team this year.
I don't think they had 90 yards.
I think they had a total of 76 yards.
Yeah, something like that. We said it in the recap, and it was just wild.
Yeah, for me, it would be Iowa. Clemson's up there, too. If you, like, Florida State game, they should have won, but, like, Cade keeps making critical mistakes at the worst time.
They just make too many dumb mistakes.
Yeah, those two. It's those two for me.
I have Tech in there.
Yeah, that's a good one,
I think
too.
Texas Tech, I have to... Because I actually think Georgia Tech's been playing very well, and I like the direction they're heading. But I think Texas Tech has been one of the more disappointing teams this year. I think Minnesota losing to Northwestern, you have to throw them in there. Just for the fact that they're not going to compete for the Big Ten West title.
I didn't think much of Minnesota this year anyway.
But like you know, usually they're like 8-9 wins, and I don't think they're going to get that this year. Purdue has been awful. They've like you could go down that.
I expected that though. See,
Yeah.
you're giving me teams that I'm like I expected not to be too well.
But in my mindset, it's more like that. I'll say I haven't been impressed with Ole Miss. I have not been impressed with Michigan either. But Michigan hasn't played anybody. And that's one of the things. I haven't been impressed with them though. They haven't shown me domination. Like at least I've seen Georgia dominate, I've seen Texas dominate, I've seen
Who the hell is Georgia dominated?
UAB. Well, no, not UAB. They haven't really they dominated South Carolina in the second half.
Yeah, they were losing though.
Yeah, I know, but the domination in the second half showed me a little bit more.
Georgia's not no. They haven't shown me shit.
All right, that's fair for you. I've seen Penn State have puttering offensive moments. Their defense is really good though.
Yeah.
And they dominated Iowa. I've seen Washington dominate. USC's USC. And I've seen Oregon dominate. And Utah's dominating through just pure suffocation.
What's your definition of domination?
Like
I was just say they're winning. They're not dominating.
I don't. This is the thing. I don't think at any point I believed UCLA was going to win that game.
There was a chance early on when he dropped the pass.
Yeah, when he dropped,
they would have tied the game up right there early in the game.
But I don't feel like if they would have scored that, I don't think the game would have changed. I think Utah would have still dominated that game.
I don't think so. I think UCLA was right in that game.
All right.
Just a couple things here or there happened. I'd bet on them again.
Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't doubt you not to bet on them again. But I just think it's one of those things where I haven't seen enough of Michigan. Maybe they'll show me something. They might struggle in Lincoln this week. So, but other than that, all right? Then we're gonna flip it. Who's been more of the surprise team that you're like, oh wow, I didn't know they were gonna be that good?
Surprise for me personally.
Yeah, you personally.
Washington State probably.
Okay.
It seemed like they were the same team last year, and I was not a big Cam Ward fan anyway. I thought he was a tad overrated. So he's kind of showed me a lot this year. I would say them for me. I wasn't high on them going into the year. I was a little bit low on Miami coming into the year, but I'm not surprised they're doing that well because if they put it all together, Van Dyke's actually.
I was about to say, are you more surprised that Van Dyke's playing well?
Yeah,
I would think that. I think that's more surprising. It's not Miami as a team whole. It's more Van Dyke is doing better than what we thought.
Mm-hmm. And he's earning the trust a little bit.
And go back. I'm gonna circle around the Washington State. That 16 they're ranked 16 right now. And good job, Washington State. You're gonna be out of the top 25 by in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and it's because
the Pac-12.
It's the Pac-12, and you've played at Pullman. All your big games have been at home. You're not playing every game at home, so they're gonna lose games, and they're gonna lose probably about 4 or 5.
I would have to look at the schedule to see. Well,
they got Washington, and I believe they got Oregon. But
of course they're in the north, so they have to play Oregon, Utah.
Well, there's no divisions anymore in the Pac-12.
In the Pac-12, I thought that was only in the ACC. I thought they still have it in the Pac-12.
No, best 2 teams go.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd I miss that? Didn't the ACC do that too?
I don't know if they did this year.
The ACC does it too.
Yeah, we did it last year because USC and Utah went.
That's North and South.
No, it's not. That was both South teams.
Oh yeah, Utah South.
Yeah.
I keep always thinking that Utah's in the North. You're right. You're right. So yeah, ACC did it this year. You did it last year.
Yeah.
Okay. See, like you notice how we both didn't say Duke because we expected them to be.
I'll say this: I expected them to be decent. I thought they would have lost to Clemson, but like,
yeah.
But like, I'm not like, am I shocked that they're 17? No. Do I think they can win majority of the games? Yes. Like once they beat Clemson, the sky was the limit for them, pretty much.
Right, like we said, they have the best quarterback in the ACC.
Jordan Travis is up there.
Yeah, that's true. Drake May fell off to number 3 now.
No, I still think Drake May's 2. But let's see who they got. I mean, they go at UCLA after their bye week, Arizona, at Oregon, at Cal, and at Washington. So,
it's not that difficult, actually.
I mean,
I thought it was going to be tougher.
1, 2, 3, 4. They got 4 tough games, and they should be at when they play Colorado at home on Friday. I mean, that's always nice. So, like, at Cal, I feel like at Cal and Stanford, there's something weird there going on that they'll just lose that game randomly.
They play at Cal and at Stanford?
No, they play at Cal, and then they play Stanford at home, and then at Cal.
Oh, see, they get Cal and Stanford. That's helpful.
Yeah, but that at UCLA game's not going to be pretty. But yeah, I can see that. I'll say my shocking teams. Mizzou, I'm a little shocked about them. I know you not. Yes, you and Brendan Walker. You guys are the fucking Mizzou fucking.
I was just a year off.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were doing what they were supposed to do last year.
Mizzou, I'll say Tyler Van Dyke for Miami. I didn't think he was that good. And he's showing that he's kind of gotten back to where you wanted him last year. So that's always a positive. My Oklahoma team that I love so much, I'm not surprised, but I do enjoy seeing people go, damn.
Oklahoma's doing what we expected them to do.
Yeah. But they don't. Gabriel is bad, and that's the worrisome thing about it. But
I would say just inconsistent.
Inconsistent. And every time he slides, I always feel like he's about to get his head cut off again like he did at TCU. Other than that, no. Everything else seems like it's gelled. I'll say there's certain teams that I think should be in the top 25. I do think A&M should be in the top 25. I know.
Who are you replacing if you're putting A&M in the top 25 then? If you put somebody in, you have to take somebody out.
Ole Miss, Tennessee, or Florida.
Okay.
I think they're better than all 3 of those teams.
I would have agreed before
that. I think Johnson's a gunslinger.
We should have mentioned that too. Connor Weigman is out for the season for A&M, so that's going to change their offensive style.
I trust Johnson. He's a gunslinger. And
I saw him have bad games at LSU, though.
Yeah.
That's a different offense, though, so maybe this will fit better.
Bobby P., he knows he likes gunslingers. He likes guys that can throw the ball, and Johnson can sling the ball around. So I'm still thinking, I still think A&M's still better than Tennessee, Florida,
and Ole Miss. I have no idea about A&M.
I still think they're better than Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida.
I don't know if I blame Auburn or A&M because A&M showed me that they could just stop the pass all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that here when we get into the games, but like that's one of the things. Like I don't think Ole Miss is good at all.
Jackson Dart showed who he was, like we said.
Florida,
I think Ole Miss's defense is actually solid though. So that's
Florida's too inconsistent at moments.
Yeah.
And Tennessee, I think they're still getting last year love for this year, which is ridiculous.
Well, shit, 1 and 2 are getting last year love for this year.
No, that is true. But all right, let's move on to some games here. Let's get to the best game of this weekend.
What do you think the best game of this weekend is? Is it Friday?
Friday is a good game. Oregon State, Utah. Oh, I guess we'll start there. Oregon State, Utah. Oregon State's 3-point favorites. They're at home. Is Cam Rising ever going to come back?
No. He's just waiting to come back for the Rose Bowl. He wants the redemption in the Rose Bowl.
They got to get to the Rose Bowl first.
Right? They keep pulling wins out of their ass.
They keep pulling wins out of their ass, yes.
Well, I guess it's not pulling it out of their ass. The Baylor one was.
But, like, Oregon State last week at home or against Washington State they struggled at the beginning. They did not look good in the first half going into like the mid third quarter. Then they turned it around.
They were consistently behind by 2 touchdowns the entire game. That game wasn't close.
Until the very end, and then they had the onside kick.
That game wasn't really close. Like, Washington State was in control of the game from the get-go.
But Washington State does that a lot. They're in control of games, and they kind of look like they're about to slip it away. This game is in Corvallis. I said I liked Oregon State at the beginning of the week to you. I've kind of flipped to Utah.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact, if Cam Rising's going to play, I'm going Utah. But then if they doesn't, it's going to be off my board. I'm dying for Cam Rising to come back. I think everybody's been saying this.
You said it's like 3 straight weeks.
It's been 4 straight weeks, Nathaniel, because they haven't really played.
Well, I didn't expect them to play against Florida.
Other than the Florida one, I thought it was just like a 1 week thing, and then the leg was going to be fine. I don't know how bad this leg is for Cam, but it must be really bad for him to miss 4 weeks in a row. 3 of those were big games. Now they won those 3 games.
I don't know. Utah doesn't. I think they do that thing where they don't really leak their injury news
They wait until like the very last second, and you don't know.
And I don't know how much Cam Rising's been working out. Like, of course he's rehabbing and stuff, but game shape and all that stuff that could be an issue even when he does come back. On top of that, I'm just gonna do this because I think Utah struggles on the road. And they're a completely different team at home. They feed off the crowd. They did struggle
against Baylor. But it was also 106 degrees that day.
Hey, they came through late. They were the better conditioned team because Baylor kind of was the one that wasn't conditioned and up to par. In this game, I like Oregon State at home just because the home field advantage and how Utah has looked on the road. And the only time we got to see them play on the road, Oregon State's a better team than Baylor, obviously. Is a bounce back spot after a loss. It's a square way to go with it, but it just looks that way. Oregon State's gonna knock off Utah. It seems too easy, but I think it is just gonna be that easy. There'll be a close game. Don't get me wrong. I don't see it being a blowout, but I think Oregon State's comfortable and wins by 7 to 10 points in this game. Well, DJ, this is the other thing, though. DJ could just straight up fuck it up against that Utah defense. That's what I'm saying. Utah
defense against DJ. Like, when DJ played really good defenses, he struggled. Yeah. And Utah is a really good defense. And this was one of my other
Oregon
questions.
State might not be able to run the ball against Utah like they do against other teams consistently. And putting him behind the chains, DJ behind the chains against that, Utah getting turnovers, I'm talking myself into flipping and going Utah.
Did last week's Washington State, I guess it was an upset, but upset of Oregon State start the domino effect of the Pac-12?
Knock off.
The things where it happens. Like, it happened last year, right? Mm-hmm. And people didn't really talk about it. They're like, oh, the Pac-12 sucks. Everybody lost. The Pac-12 just knocks each other off. Yep. And that's just what happens. Washington State knocked off Oregon State to get them out of there, that sexy talk look. Now it's Oregon State's turn to knock Utah off, and then it's going to be. I guarantee you, Utah play somebody next week, and they're going to knock them off. Like, it's just a domino effect of certain things that are going to happen.
Utah's probably due for a bye.
They might be a bye time, but like, it's just one of those things where, like, I feel the domino effect.
And that's why I'm just leaning Oregon State in this game, even though I pretty much almost talked myself into Utah and their avenue to win the game.
Yeah, they get a bye week, and then they play Cal, and then at USC. So, like, let's say USC beats Colorado, and then they go and beat Arizona, and then they beat Notre Dame, and then Utah's right there. Like, look at that. Mm-hmm. Look how wild that is. They played Arizona State already, barely beat them. Then they go to Colorado, play Arizona, then they go to Notre Dame, and then Utah. That's right there is built for disaster. That game right there against Utah is made for Utah to win that game. So
yeah. They play USC really well. It just seems like the cycle's just going to happen this time. And, but logically, I could see the avenue on why people would talk themselves into picking Utah in this game. Like, I just went through it myself, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And how if Utah scores a defensive touchdown, I think they win this game. Or special teams play. Utah pulls one of those things out usually too in those games.
Yeah.
And like last week was the first time I'm kind of watching Oregon State, and I wasn't really that impressed with them anyway. Yeah, I might. Shit.
I think.
I really. The more I talk about it, the more I want to lean Oklahoma or Utah.
I'll say this: if Utah loses, last week was the start of the domino effect of the Pac-12 curse problem they have, and that's when you have to be really smart. If you're a gambler, really smart and think of the sharp plays in the Pac-12. All right, because things get wild and things just happen in the Pac-12 that you can't really explain.
Oregon State doesn't lose on Fridays. That's the narrative I'm going with.
But all right, we'll see.
I just remember the USC game from all the way back in the day with Jacquizz Rodgers and James Rodgers when they ran that shit.
The fly sweep stuff.
Yeah, and USC was legit national championship good that year.
There's a couple of 11 o'clock games. They're not like.
I thought you were just doing the big games, or you just want to go?
Yeah, we'll go in order, and then we'll get to the two big games at the night shift, or the big game at night and the other one at 2:30. We'll just start off with the 11 o'clock. There's three interesting matchups. I wouldn't say they're like world beaters, but they're interesting. You have BYU Cincinnati.
That's Friday, by the way.
Oh, that's Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a Saturday.
No.
Well, Friday, BYU Cincinnati. One of them's going to get their first Big 12 win ever in the conference. I'm shocked BYU's a +2 dog at home. I know it's not Utah Stadium, but those Mormons do love their Cougars. And I think, I like that pun, by the way. You like my little Wilson Cougar talk?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think BYU wins that game straight up.
I think so too.
I don't know why they're a 2-point dog, but
yeah, in Provo.
Yeah. Then you have the 11 o'clock games. Clemson going to their Achilles heel.
You say that, but I think they've only lost once in the Carrier.
But they're always close.
They've only lost once.
Syracuse plays Clemson close, and they just got done playing a very hard, very tough game against Florida State. Qs are looking to get ranked.
Yeah, they had to have a comeback against Army.
Yeah.
Struggled, slept through the first half, then woke up.
They're playing Clemson. Now, if they win this game, it shows more about how bad Clemson actually is this year than how good Syracuse is.
I think this is the final downfall of Cade.
Do you think this is it?
I think it happens here.
And as much as we don't like Syracuse's coach, if he wins this game, they're 5-0.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at them.
Fucking Clemson's corner Wiggins is probably out this game too.
Syracuse is 6.5-point dog over on his 53.5. I think the under is a play here too.
Yeah, very, very true. I think Syracuse wins this game straight up.
I think Syracuse covers. I don't know if they win it straight up. They have moments like
Dabo said Clemson is 3 plays away from being a top 5 team in the nation. Agree or disagree?
I would say they're more than 3. They're about there because they fumbled. He's just talking about the 2 fumbles in the red zone against Duke, and then the fumble against Florida State. There's a little bit. You got him. That's like him discrediting Duke dominating them in that game, like beating them in that game. That's a bad statement from him, and that kind of gets him off. That's why people don't like him, is because of statements like that.
He's trying to build the confidence in his team, which that statements like that signals to me that he, in the locker room, Clemson, the team themselves, do not have a lot of confidence anymore. So he's trying to build it back into them with that false statement, pretty much, of that, saying that to the media. I think there's a lack of confidence in the locker room in Clemson, and this game stays close. I feel like they're going to find a way to lose it rather than win it. Like,
I'll say this though:
used to find ways to win games.
Syracuse has only been the ones and played them close almost every game.
Even if it was in Death Valley, they would keep it close.
Syracuse finds ways to lose against Clemson, though, and that's sometimes their problem.
They only lost once.
They lost twice.
Clemson to Syracuse.
Yeah, Clemson only lost once, I think.
Right. You said they find ways to lose to
Syr-
Syracuse.
no, I'm saying Syracuse finds ways to lose to Clemson.
Right. Yes.
I'm not.
Yes.
It's more of Syracuse.
And that's me stating this. I think Clemson's been losing a lot of close games that they haven't in the past. Obviously, this year, even though the Duke one you could say was a close. Clemson's been the one turning the ball over.
Yeah.
Syracuse forces turnovers.
And
I actually like. I think it's switched. I think Syracuse should be favored in this game. Actually,
we'll see. And I have to see more of Syracuse. I haven't watched a lot of them.
and this game was not on my card, but it's added to it now.
I have Syracuse covering the 6.5. Just it's at the Carrier Dome. You played Florida State hard. You lost that game. That was your national championship game, so to speak, for Clemson. And then now it's pretty much where do we go from here?
You have them covering the 6.5.
No, I have Syracuse covering the 6.5.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, I don't know. Clemson has nowhere really to go because their national championship game, the ACC championship game, was last week.
Yeah, because they've already had they got two ACC losses.
Two ACC losses. So I don't know where their head's at, how Dabo's going to get them going. Like, this could be a very downhill year for Clemson.
Yeah.
Moving on to another game at 11. It's Florida traveling to Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky's 4-0. Florida's 3-1.
What was the streak before when it happened 3 years ago? And then Florida beat Kentucky
almost every year.
Almost
every
it was
year.
like a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that number offhand, but it doesn't matter anymore because Kentucky finally came through with a win.
Are we sold on Kentucky? Like, I feel like this is a game where Kentucky's like, oh, we're up for the game, and they lay a goose egg. Like, I feel like they beat the teams they need to beat and lose to the teams that you were like, oh, they might beat them.
Very true. They tend to do that. However, as somebody that was high on Kentucky this year, I had them finishing second in the SEC East. I think they don't win this game. Like I said, they have the new offense. They haven't really played anybody the entire time. So it's first big game. Actually, they have a sneakily kind of loud crowd for these games. They hate Florida. Florida is not as good as their ranking.
Yeah, that's one of the things I already know.
That's built in on beating a mediocre Tennessee team. I love Billy Napier, but he does not get it done on the road against Kentucky. I think they are overvalued way too much. Tough place to play in Kentucky. I would love nothing more for Billy Napier as a Billy Napier defender for him to win this game. Because Florida loses this, the whole conversation continues again.
But I'll say this. The Kentucky fans, if they start losing early, they quit on their football team. Mm-hmm. It's not like their basketball team. They're in the basketball game for most of the time.
No, they quit on their team last year.
Well, the last year they did. Everybody quit on Kentucky last year. But, like, they're quick to quit on their football team. If they're down, like, 10 points, Kentucky fans are kind of like, it is what it is. We lost.
I think it's messed up. It's an 11 o'clock game. Should be a night game. They screwed the fans over there in Kentucky. But they'll be up because it's a rivalry game. And Florida's, like, what do they have?
They have a good run. They have a good run game.
Tennessee defense is good.
Etienne's good though. I like Etienne.
They struggled to get on offense against Charlotte.
That was after the high of Tennessee, so now they're getting back into the groove. And they knew they didn't have to play that hard against Charlotte. That was like a rest day for them. Just win the game, move on, type feel. I don't think I have this on my card. I don't know where I would lean that card.
I have Kentucky straight up.
Yeah, Kentucky straight up.
But that's more of me being big on them coming into the year, picking them at number 2. This is a final showcase game where people start recognizing.
I'll say this, gambling side, those money lines really did screw us last week.
Yes.
So, you have 3 money lines already.
On Kentucky?
Well, you have Kentucky, BYU, and Syracuse. That's 3 money lines.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, be careful of these money line ones. But you believe in what you believe in.
Well, let me preface this. We probably should have started with it. Last week's results, I did say I was probably going to struggle.
Yeah.
I did kind of admit that because I was off on the lines. I missed on the big ones that I needed on the big games. I hit on the small games, though, but I missed on the big games. So this week I feel like it could be a week to bounce back because like the big games I missed on. It could have went either way in Clemson, Notre Dame, fucking Memphis. So I think this week is back to the routine. I feel good about this week.
Another game, it's a tradition in like none other.
Was it just a rally tradition? It's our tradition, right?
It's our tradition, but we created a tradition.
Man, it sucks. This game's on at 11 like the Florida and Kentucky
Yeah.
game too.
It's a tradition that we've made. This is not the past 2 years, but the years before that, when A&M Arkansas played each other, at no point did this game ever touch an under. It's been the past 2 years where the under is hit. But the tradition is, God, I almost said turducken. The tradition
It's
is
almost Thanksgiving coming up.
you always bet the over in the A&M Arkansas game. And I've done it this year.
I did not have that on my card. I broke the tradition.
Well, it's more of my tradition type thing.
Yeah, that's more yours. I would always take A&M
A&M,
every year.
yeah.
I flipped it this year, actually. But yeah, I would take A&M. You would take the over.
I'm taking the over again, 53.5.
I'm going to add that to my card.
I actually
too.
really like the number.
Well, we don't know about Rocket.
And I'll never know about Rocket, but as long as KJ Jefferson's there and he doesn't do dumb shit like he did the years before, trying to hop over and losing the ball. And again, A&M, they got screwed last week. The under hit because I didn't know Auburn couldn't pass the ball. Hugh Freeze has a.
Well, our friend Pedro would have told you Peyton Thorne sucks as a quarterback.
Well,
so.
I thought Hugh Freeze could change the crappy Peyton Thorne. Obviously, it was wrong. But Arkansas played LSU close. I think they're going to play.
They should have actually won.
They had terribly bad mistakes offensively. False starts, this miscommunication. The defense is not good, though.
No.
Their defense isn't good. A&M's defense might be better than what it was in that. Like
That's
we're in
the
that
problem.
triangle of we don't know if the defense is good and this Miami's really good, or was Auburn's offense that bad and they didn't really have to try.
I'm leaning on Auburn's offense being that bad and A&M's defense still in the back set. Like, their front seven's good. The back end, that's the thing. Secondary is not great.
And I'll say I trust
riding with
KJ
that.
Jefferson way more than any Auburn quarterback that's on their roster.
Yeah.
So, and the threat of him running makes it better.
Arkansas really should not be 2-2, by the way.
Yeah, they lost, but their defense is like
The problem.
horrible.
They were up against BYU all the way till the end.
They were up by 10 twice on them. Twice and blew it. And then they battled against LSU. They just couldn't stop Jaden Daniels at all. So, I think the over hits in this game. We're back to being over in this game, which is going to be great. And it's going to be probably one of the better 11 o'clock games or more at the entertainment level.
Yeah, I'm going to actually switch my pick. I'm just going to go with the over one on my card, and I'm not going to bet the side on it, even though I think Arkansas could win straight up.
I think it will be entertaining. Johnson's playing, so Gunslinger could come in. Picks can happen in that game.
Yeah, turnovers, probably possibility.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. 11 o'clock game, a lot of people are going to be watching. It's big noon. USC going to Colorado. USC.
Fuck USC.
By the way, I'm
USC.
staying away from this game just for Lincoln Riley's fuckery.
Yeah, betting wise, yeah. No.
Lincoln Riley has a defensive problem. They gave up 20. They made me stay up till 1 a.m. watching them struggle. Like they're like, if somebody tells me, "Oh, that was an easy game," at what point did you go to bed and go, "Yep, it's over"? I went to bed around the 2-minute mark when Arizona State couldn't score. They turned turnover on downs.
I went to bed before that because USC wasn't going to cover the 35.
Right,
so
yeah,
I had
gambling
no reason
wise,
to watch
yeah.
it.
But I watched it to see if maybe Arizona State can shock the world.
I didn't think that was
Did I believe it? No, but once they scored, and I was like, damn, they're only down by 4. Like USC Arizona State's bad. They can't pass the ball. They can't pass the ball.
Arizona State was running a lot of trickery kind of plays in
No,
the game too, though.
they can't pass the ball, Nathaniel. And they sometimes pass the ball. USC got maybe 2 turnovers in that game. Fresno State played better than USC against Arizona State at Arizona State.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, I'm starting to believe USC's not an 8th best team. Like, they could beat these bad teams. Defensively, though, they can't beat a soul.
They cannot.
And that's why I think Colorado can stay in this game, is because they do have again, they do have weapons. The offensive line is a horrific thing at Colorado.
Yeah, like this is gonna feel really nice for Colorado because Oregon's defense is legit really good. Going into that game, we both thought that would give Colorado problems.
I think Colorado needs to run the ball more too. I think they need to find a way to run the ball.
Yeah, they should install it a little bit, but against Oregon, that was not happening.
No, but like you got to keep USC honest, and as bad as their defense is, as long as you keep them honest, you can be in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what Colorado wants.
I think Colorado has a legit shot of winning this game. Actually, going in, if you would have asked me before the Arizona State game, I would have said they had no shot of winning this game.
Yeah.
After seeing that fucking lackluster, once again, Lincoln Riley's defensive.
He has no defense.
It's not Lincoln Riley's, Alex Grinch's defense, but I put it on Lincoln Riley
because he runs
the team.
I've
defended Alex Grinch multiple times and be like, he compliments it well because he'll get turnovers. That has not been the case in the 3 years since they've been running together, even back at Oklahoma.
I'll say last year they had a lot of turnovers at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, at the beginning, kick it off, and that hasn't happened so far. Shedeur, he really doesn't turn the ball over too often either.
No.
Well, shit. There was a couple dropped interceptions that happened that could have occurred in the Oregon game too. I just do not trust USC at all with as bad as their defense is. Colorado's at home too. The crowd's going to be amped up still. They're not giving up on them after they lost the Oregon game.
No.
Like any realistic Colorado fan went into that game with thinking they're probably going to lose that game. I actually do think Colorado can straight up win this game because with a defense that bad, all they need is a couple turnovers, and Caleb Williams tends to have a couple drives where you're just like, what the hell is he doing? Like, he just kind of gets lazy with the ball.
He wasn't
sometimes.
great against Arizona State.
Like, he'll get lazy. He's good enough that he just can kind of make plays out of nothing. He could turn the ball over a couple times, and Colorado could turn this into a one-score game going late and winning it.
I'm going to say this. I ain't back on, like, I know I said the media is a loser. The media still is the losers for Colorado for kind of turning on Deion that quick. I wasn't annoyed by Deion. We always said this. Was never annoyed by Deion. It was the media that annoyed me. The media still annoys me about the Deion thing and how they covered Deion. Like, Doug Gottlieb was one of them. I hated Doug Gottlieb's whole little rant he went on Deion yesterday. It was stupid. It was terrible. I didn't like it. I didn't like a tweet that Skip Bayless said, is Colorado Black America's team? Like, that's a stupid statement. Like, you don't put the race in there. And then you don't say, oh.
Well, I guess he's not really wrong, though, because, like, people, if you don't like college football, and you're a casual fan, like, you like Deion, though, it brings over all the NFL fans from Deion. And most of them are black. If you like Deion, how many white people really like Deion? Like Cowboy fans?
Yeah, Cowboy, maybe some Niner fans.
Atlanta fans?
Yeah, but, like, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm not putting the race in there. Like, I think
that it's stupid to bring race into fucking just a football sense anyway.
I'm going to say this.
But that's what America loves to do.
I know.
America loves to do that.
I think Deion's doing a good job right now. Because, yes, they got blown out last week. And Oregon sent out that stupid little 5-minute video thing of Colorado talking shit to them. But at what point last year do you think Colorado players had any confidence like that?
Most of them aren't on the team.
Well, most of them aren't. But, like, the motivational aspect. Deion has to get them, the players that were there last year and that are playing, and the transfer guys to believe in them that they can win games. And he's done that. And yeah, did it not work? Absolutely didn't work out last week. Yeah, they talked shit and they didn't back it up. They got blown out. But they knew that. They were like, yeah, we got blown out. It is what it is. Motivationally speaking, I think Deion does a good job. I think sometimes he might not say the right things, but who cares? Not everybody's going to say the right thing. I'd rather have a Deion at the press conference. I'd rather have Deion speak than a Bill Belichick press conference. Like, at what point do you ever want to hear a Bill Belichick press conference?
He says some witty stuff.
Nowadays, because he doesn't care anymore. But, like, during the heyday of New England, At what point were you anything? Did you want to hear anything about Bill Belichick?
I respect that about Bill Belichick because he's fucking like the media's just gonna turn whatever I say into some bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I understand.
And I respect the way that Dion does it because he could say whatever the fuck he wants because the media is going to turn whatever a coach says into something that wasn't meant that right way. If you just phrase something a little different.
Yeah, it's funny how
twist the
before
words.
the week, before that loss in Oregon, everybody loved anything Colorado did. They loved everything. Oh, look at the Colorado playing this and doing that and doing this and like on Twitter and X, I guess now. Now it's like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? At what point did you not think Colorado was going to lose the game? Like, did everybody think Colorado was just going to go undefeated this year?
The casuals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's what the other people, when they get ratings like that for a college football
Game?
like the numbers that come in being the number one most watched college football game when Notre Dame and Ohio State played.
Yeah.
That's wild. So that's got to be like 40% of that is people that never really would watch college football before.
Yeah.
It's like that big of a number, kind of. So that's where all the bullshit Twitter and all the other takes come from is all people that don't really watch it on a consistent basis,
Yeah.
whose opinion I really don't give a fuck about. And that's why I stay away from trying to talk about Colorado too much. Because
Yeah, we try to stay away. But it annoys me how you can't leave your ship. Some of the people that do watch college football, you can't leave the ship that you helped create. The people like us and some other people were like, let's wait and see, wait and see. And they built up the ship quick. They got on that ship. They lost, and now they're trying to go leave the ship. No, stay on the ship.
Yeah.
Don't leave the Dion ship. We haven't left the Dion coaching ship. We just didn't trust that they were going to be as good as that you guys built the ship of trying to get Sonora Sanders the Heisman, Dion the national championship already. Like, we weren't on that ship.
Yeah.
Like, I might have said Sanders is up there, but I would never put him.
I never even had him that high,
Yeah.
but that's fine that other people did. Like, but I always say early season Heisman shit
Yeah,
is
but like,
bullshit anyway.
stay on your ship. Stay on the ship and go down with the ship.
Well, it's not going down. I think they can have a legit shot of beating USC. I think it's going to be a close game. Honestly, going back to the game, I really do think it's going to be a close game. I'll be surprised if they get blown out in this game.
Remember,
Because you know what? I think TCU is just as good as SC.
And this is what I'm going to say. I feel like Lincoln Riley has fucked me over so many times this year. He's already fucked me twice.
Yeah, he fucked me hard once.
Like, I said Stanford was going to keep that game close, got blown out.
Yeah.
I said they're going to run wreckage against Arizona State. They barely won.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about Lincoln Riley in this game. I want to say Colorado has a shot. But if I do, I feel like USC's just going to run rampant on them and win 53 to like 10.
I'm taking the points. This is the first time I'm betting Colorado all year.
Yeah.
It'll be the first time. I'm taking the points because Lincoln Riley last week, he'll probably come back and screw me and then win by, well, who knows. I truly believe their defense is going to give up points though. So to cover the 21 and a half, they got to score 70 pretty much. Well,
60.
60?
Maybe 53.
Yeah, I think Colorado could score 30 plus points against that USC defense.
All right.
So
moving on. Not much. We got the worst. The who's going to finish last.
We
in
got
the
a couple like really ugly games, which makes this week pretty intriguing.
It's who's going to finish last in the ACC at 1:00. Virginia, Boston College. I almost bet this game. I stood away.
I love betting ugly games.
We have Cal, Arizona State. Battle for the
worst.
Not it'll
quite.
be close. Battle for one of the worst teams in the Pac-12. UCF should get their first win at the Jump House against Baylor.
Do not think so. I think that's a weird spot for UCF. I can see Baylor kind of sneaking out of it.
If Plumlee plays, I think everything's golden. You have Houston trying to get their first win in the Big 12 against Tech.
Does Tech have a Big 12 win? They only have one win. I don't think it's in the Big 12.
I think they lost last week to West Virginia. So, and then you have Illinois, Purdue, and just a game that nobody cares about. Then the big games on 2:30. Michigan goes to Nebraska. Nebraska kind of plays them well at Lincoln Field. I don't know if Sim's going to start. Nebraska stinks. They're just not good right now.
No.
So I don't really care about that. I'm not betting the game, not touching the game because Michigan's Michigan. It is one of their lower numbers of the year, which is
17. They're currently under 20. Well, 20.
24.
Whatever they pushed with that Rutgers. Yeah,
24. That's the only intriguing thing about that. The over-under is 39, which was shocking.
Yeah, that's a low-ass number.
Yeah, but that just shows how bad Nebraska's offense is more than Michigan's defense, I think. But the big game, I'd say this is the second biggest game of the week.
Yeah, probably.
Kansas travels to Austin against Texas, both 4-0. Texas is favored by 16.5, over under 61.5. This right here is a huge marker for Texas.
Hmm?
It's kind of like because I just recently watched the '05 documentary that the Longhorn Network did.
Yeah, great documentary.
Yeah, and after being in Oklahoma, Colorado came and they were ranked like 10th.
Mm-hmm. They were
Or
like 12,
something like that. And then they had Tech that was ranked in the top 10. They were like 9 and game day was there.
Mm-hmm.
And they blew out Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Oklahoma. They blew out Colorado. And then they blew out Tech. If Texas...
Vince Young ain't walking through those doors.
But this is what I'm saying. If Texas can control this game control the game majority of the time, I will then believe Texas has
What's the difference from last year when we played him?
Daniels.
He played last year.
Did he?
Yes. Bijan. I guess he ran all over him last year.
Yeah.
We beat the hell out of him last year.
I know.
I will tell you what I think the difference is. Kansas defense is actually pretty good this year.
It's okay. They have moments.
It's
Give
better,
up points.
It's better than I thought it was going to be this year.
Okay.
And our offense is too inconsistent, and I could see them kind of slowing us down. Daniels running around like Mike Vick making plays. There's a good chance that they could come in there and pull out I wouldn't say good chance. I'll put it at like 30% chance they can win this game straight up.
And they've beat you guys at DK before.
Yeah, overtime.
Overtime game.
Yeah.
Just a couple years ago. So it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas plays you well. And I think they haven't ran the ball as well as I thought they would this year.
Neal, he breaks off big plays.
Yeah, he breaks off big plays.
He's a big play running back, so he could break one off at any time.
Yeah.
And our linebackers do kind of shoot the gap, so if they get the wrong hole, Neal could take one to the house.
As you said, and somebody else said, you said this might be the best defense in the nation.
Us and Penn State, I believe.
Yeah.
I truly believe it. So from what I've seen, it's either us or Penn State that has the best defense in the nation.
I'll be intrigued to see how well you do against this offense.
Right. That's why I'm intrigued too, because I want to see how we do against this explosive Kansas offense.
Because I don't think Kansas offense, they score. They can score quick. They can score a lot.
What gives me confidence as a Texas fan, though, is our defensive performance against them last year was really good.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
But was that when Daniels just came back from his injury?
He was back for a couple weeks before that.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there. Pretty sure he was there like 2 weeks, a week. He had a game before we played him. I believe in PK, like I guess his scheme against Kansas. I think he found something there, and I'm hoping that's what carries us in this game. And like I said, if our defense shows out against Kansas, then there's really no argument against what I believe is probably the best defense in the nation. And some can argue Penn State, and I'm fine with that if you want Penn State in there. But I would say our teams that we would play after Kansas, if we have a good game, our opponents' offenses are a lot better than Iowa.
Iowa State's not that good. Oklahoma State's not that good.
No, I'm talking about early in the season.
Oh, early.
To this point.
To this point. Yeah.
To this point.
Yeah.
Where we have Kansas,
Yeah.
Bama.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. To this point. Yeah.
Wyoming.
Wyoming's like anyone in
Rice.
the Big Ten. Wyoming is like anyone in the Big Ten.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. They can't. Yeah. I'm looking for Xavier Worthy to have his breakout week here.
I'm more worried about our offense being able to score really, truly against them.
I want to see,
Because Quinn has not been.
He's been consistently good. Okay, he's been good.
Yeah, not.
He hasn't been great. He's not gonna. He was good against Alabama. He was good. He's been good. He's been good when he needs to be good. And that's the thing. I want to see Worthy get into it, Sanders get into the game.
Sanders will always be in the game. Like
He wasn't in that Bama game, though.
What are you talking about? He had over 100 yards receiving against
Did
Bama.
he?
Sanders was making those big plays. He had the one whenever right after they scored, we hit him for like a, I don't know, 55-yard pass where he was cutting across the field, almost scored damn near. Like, Sanders has been great. I think he has more yards on the season than Worthy does, probably. I can't believe you don't remember them making those plays.
I remember, because I might have got it confused with week 1 where he had a good week. That's probably why I was confused, but you guys are at the bottom. No.
Right now, my brother's looking up to see how.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
He was about to. Well, we have a internet problem just happened.
What the hell is that?
He's.
You can't just leave me there. Oh, go.
A.D. Mitchell might have been the leading receiver actually overall, but I think Sanders had if he didn't have 100, he had like right at 98.
What times are we going at here? I'm so confused on the time schedule that they're giving me right now. What the fuck? But
Here it is. You passed it.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Sanders had 5 for 114. I must have just been daydreaming on that play. But
Yeah, two big plays.
yeah, I'm just saying daydreaming that I didn't see him.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
And like I keep saying, he's going to be the number 1 tight end taken in the NFL draft.
Yeah, you can say it all you want. Brock Bowers is still going to be the number 1 tight end.
He is not. He is not. But that's fine. We'll see. We'll see come draft day.
That's draft stuff here and there. I want to see how you contain Daniels too on the quarterback scrambles. That'll be interesting to see.
Our defensive line's legit, so I'm hoping they get that early.
But if he could get outside of the D line, it's going to be up the hill. And I don't know your other linebacker.
Ford.
Oh,
Jaylen
Ford. Yeah, it'll be up to them to contain him outside if he gets past the D line.
Cattle on to our safety that comes downhill, the transfer from Arkansas,
Yeah.
all that. So, great game. But people probably expect, I don't know why the number's so high, but whatever.
Well, people are high on Texas this year.
No, people keep waiting for us to fail.
That's what you see on your line.
Yeah.
But majority of people are really high on Texas.
I just really want to please just somehow find a way to win so we could go into next week with about a top 10 matchup.
It'll be tough, but yeah.
Against Oklahoma. But we'll get there when we get there. Jesus, you doing that right now
Yeah,
on the
I'm
mic?
sorry.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. The hell?
Georgia plays Auburn. We're at Auburn. Shockingly, here, this is where I'm more shocked about. Kansas is a bigger dog than Auburn is. And I guess it's because they're at home.
Yeah.
And Georgia didn't look good against South Carolina in the first half. But there's no way you can tell me. You can sit there and give me a complete and utter argument that Auburn is a 14.5-point dog.
What do you want it?
I want it way higher.
I thought that initially, but you know what? When has Georgia played a road game this year?
They haven't.
Right. First year quarterback on the road at Auburn.
I don't care. At what point do you think Auburn's going to score 10 points, 13 points against Georgia? You're like South Carolina did. South Carolina's better than Auburn.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Offensively, they're better than Auburn.
Yes.
In the second half, Georgia shut that shit down.
Auburn's going to do their run the ball game. They're just going to run the ball and so...
They can't run the ball.
Well, they're going to pull some stuff out.
They're not going to.
That's what I believe.
As much as I love Hugh Freeze, they're not going to do anything.
Georgia hasn't given me enough this season for me to trust them yet. So I don't care. The line, you could say it probably should be actually, I would say 17.5 seems fair. If they put it at 17.5, I think that's fair. It's probably a bit too low, but I understand what Vegas is doing because Georgia hasn't been on the road all year.
Yeah.
So they finally have to go on the road. Auburn, Crazy stuff happens at that stadium. We've seen it before. Hugh Freeze upsets big time teams. Seen it before.
And that's with players that actually he recruited.
But on the field, there shouldn't be a way that Georgia loses this game because
They're not going to lose this game, and they're going to blow them out.
I think you're falling for it because
I might
Auburn
be.
looked so bad against A&M. You're really undervaluing them now. That's what I think is going on because they looked so bad in that A&M game.
Sometimes you got to buy into a bet. Like, yes, sometimes you shouldn't buy into one game, one look. But sometimes you know what Thorne is. Like, you go and you're like, all right, I've seen Thorne and how bad he is.
I don't believe he's starting.
Who's just going to
I
start?
think Ashford's starting.
I've seen how bad he is.
I think they're gonna. He's gonna have a full week of practice this week, and they're gonna install a game plan that suits his skills instead of being on the fly. So those little
So
plays,
just run the ball?
So those little plays that they ran with that he would come in throughout the season and run.
Yeah.
They're gonna expand the package. They're gonna have some trickery that goes with Ashford to use his speed and maybe fake like he's running and hit a big play deep because you can beat Georgia deep on some trickery. They're not perfect.
I know.
Their defense is not perfect. They can give up some plays. So that's how I see Auburn going into this game. That's the game plan. Who knows if it works? Could be. You could definitely be right. They might just go in there and smash them. But I do not agree with you saying that this line is too low.
I think.
Well, I did say it should be 17.5, but you're thinking like something crazy.
No, I was thinking it's like 20 and a half.
Yeah. But there's reasons why Georgia can lose this game. Straight up. There's reasons.
But even Nebraska's getting 17. Like, the fact is that's fine. That's fine. I haven't seen Auburn do anything this year.
They beat Cal at Cal. That's no walk in the park, winning a road game in California.
Anyways.
That's no. All right.
Anyways.
They've done more than Georgia has.
Georgia beat South Carolina. South Carolina's better than Cal.
Well, they're number one, so they should win that game. They should have blown them out. What was the spread in that game?
Well, they didn't cover that. I knew
Right.
I knew South Carolina was covering that game because they're bet. Like, they gave you a ridiculous number in South Carolina, and I feel like there's like we're not going to give you 24 and a half like you did against South Carolina. I don't think Vegas knows where Georgia's at, and so they're just trying to find the actual number.
Yeah.
I think that's more of the case.
Well, hopefully your boy Bauer is the best number one tight end. Maybe he'll have a good game finally. He
he
hasn't.
had a good game last week.
He hasn't done shit this year.
He had a good game last
Who'd
week.
they play?
UAB.
Okay. My tight end's doing it against Bama. Get this shit out of here with UAB.
Missouri Vanderbilt, not interesting.
Boise State Memphis will be a cool.
That's
cool
a good
game.
G5. It's a good G5 game. Memphis 3.5 point favorites.
We don't have to talk
I
about
know,
everything. Memphis having to bounce back and shit from that.
Yeah, it'll
So,
be. We always
that
anytime.
should have been an 11 o'clock game. Memphis. What happened to those games when Memphis would play at 11 o'clock against like UCLA and
Ole Miss. I
Yeah,
think.
right.
But
They replaced it with that shit night game at Mizzou.
I will say this. I think everybody we all go, oh, Boise State. Maybe Boise State's just average this year. So just one of those things that popped in my head. 5 o'clock, LSU goes to Ole Miss,
To the Grove.
to the Grove, to that beautiful non-loud place. By the way, both Mississippi teams have home games, and I guarantee you both of them are just dog shit, mid-average, little crowd, loud.
The stadium will be filled.
It's gonna be filled. Who cares? They don't make no noise. I'm gonna hear more cowbells. Oh, this is how they go. Oh, that's Mississippi State. There's and then like cowbells gotta make the rest of the noise. Oh.
Yeah, they can't cheer and ring a cowbell at the same
Yes,
time.
you can.
They're from Mississippi State. They can't do two things at once.
Oh, God.
You said it. Oh,
Yeah, I know. That might be true though, and that's why Ole Miss just can't even get loud.
Because Ole Miss fans are drinking, so they're not loud, so they're taking sips the whole
They're
time.
sleeping
instead of-
because they drank so much at the Grove that they get to the stadium like,
Yeah.
oh shit, play defense.
Weird start time. 5 o'clock is a weird start time. I think they did it just for Ole Miss fans, too. Like, oh, yeah. I'm going to start an hour earlier for them.
Yeah, Ole Miss is 2.5 point dogs. LSU over under 67. Jackson Darts. This game just relies on one thing and one thing only. Like, because I do think you're right. I do think Ole Miss defense is good. I do think Ole Miss's defense got a little tired in the Bama game.
They were on the field forever.
Yeah. Jackson Dart, you got to play better.
I guess not really. Well, didn't Ole Miss have that long drive late that didn't really result that late?
Yeah, but it didn't really. And they weren't really hurrying up. They wasted the clock too much.
Yeah.
Another Lane Kiffin shot in the foot type thing.
Masterclass.
It could be another Lane.
Who's the better coach in this game?
Brian Kelly.
Okay. I was seeing which way.
Not even close.
Okay.
I was about to say, is Lane going to shoot himself in the foot again? Like, this is another moment where I'm like, I feel like Lane's going to get outcoached and outdueled and this do dumb shit.
I think it comes down. I think LSU is legit playoff potential good. Ole Miss is like barely hanging on top 25 for life good. And LSU.
I don't think LSU's defense is that good, though.
I agree with that.
I think they have flaws there.
I don't think Jackson Dart is good.
I think this is more. This game is really about Jackson Dart.
And Judkins is obviously not healthy.
This game relies on Jackson Dart. If Jackson Dart has a good game, I think Ole Miss can win this game. But he's gonna have to have a really good game. Like, that's just point blank range. If he has a bad game and he stays in the whole game, Ole Miss isn't going to do it, but I would really start questioning Lane Kiffin.
LSU loves playing in Mississippi also.
Yeah, but I would...
They already blew out Mississippi State.
Mississippi State stinks.
They love playing in Mississippi.
Yeah, that was 11 o'clock game. The Cowbells weren't up at that time.
Shit, they needed to wake up because they got jumped on from the get-go.
Yeah. Jackson Dart, if you have a good game, that's the only avenue. And if you have a bad game and you don't get benched, it's time... Ole Miss, start questioning if you did the right thing by re-signing Lane Kiffin. Just throwing that out there.
No. Well, even if they bench Jackson Dart, then Sanders comes in.
I trust Spencer Sanders in bigger games than I do Jackson Dart.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, the Big 12 championship. He won the Big 12 championship.
Spencer Sanders, he lost it to fucking Baylor.
Oh, damn, that's right. They did.
Choked.
My bad. Wrong thing. My bad. I apologize.
He choked at the 1 yard line.
I flipped it. He ain't choked. The guy choked.
Well, they had other opportunities other than that one run too.
I know. I totally flipped that game in my head. I thought, yeah, you're right. Baylor won that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
No, didn't they win the Fiesta Bowl?
Or Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's not as big as the Big 12 championship where they choked it away when they could have been playing for the national championship.
I don't think they would have got into the national championship.
They should have if they would have won that game.
Yeah, but I don't think they would have gave it to them. That's just my theory. But where's the Cotton Bowl? One of the two. Spencer Sanders has won big games. That's what I'll say.
Apparently, he's a better quarterback than Jalen Milroe in some people's eyes. I'm not calling no names out. Jackson Dart's apparently a better quarterback too, but not calling no names out.
Jackson Dart stinks, and he hasn't won a big game.
Ever.
Like, there's a big game, and if he throws me another dutter, Lane, you got to do something. But Oklahoma plays Iowa State, and that's neat.
That's a classic. Red River shootout look ahead game.
Yeah, and Iowa State plays pretty well at Oklahoma. I do think Iowa State stinks though, but
that's the issue. Is Iowa State's bad.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma should just be fine.
They might not cover, but I think they're looking ahead to the.
They're already game planning for Texas. I guarantee you.
Yeah, this Iowa State game, they're just like, win. We don't really care. Just win. Let's go. Let's get ready for Dallas.
Yep, that's exactly, because I bet the grad assistants and other people are already putting tape.
I was about to say, I think they have any tape. They have every single play for Texas already set up.
Yeah, they're grinding. They're grinding through that.
One of the ugliest games of the year. Michigan State goes to Iowa.
Awesome.
Over under 36.5. This is nasty. This is ugly.
Hey, last time we had a low number like that, the Iowa State-Oklahoma State game, it hit in the first half.
Yeah, I know. I'm not touching this game.
That's Big 12 football, though.
This is just disgusting.
Yeah.
On NBC, too, which makes it worse. Then you go to your two primetime games. I guess not really primetime. Your two.
It is.
Well, the other big game, I'd say the biggest game of the week. Notre Dame at Duke. Notre Dame coming off that horrible loss to Ohio State.
Why you So you saw since we did our recap,
Yeah, since
they
we
had
did
10 men on the field
Twice.
and they called a timeout
Yeah.
before there.
So that makes it 3 times actually, because they did a play. They stopped them with 10 men. They had 10 men on the field, so they called a timeout. Then they still threw out 10 men. Make that make sense. Like that whole drive from Notre Dame at the end was horrifically bad.
Yes.
That did not bode well for Freeman. And now you have to go to Durham and play
this coach is better than you. Mike Elko is a better coach than
Mike Elko right now is showing he's a better coach.
He's
than
probably the
Freeman.
coach of the year right now in football. In college
Yeah,
football.
he's up there. He's been very good. 6-point dogs for Duke. This is a dangerous game for Notre Dame. I think Riley Leonard's good. Duke is very physical. They run the ball a lot. I do think Sam Hartman plays a better game this week, though.
I still don't like their offensive
System or style?
yeah, the play calls that they run. I don't like it too much. They don't put the ball in his hands enough.
I will say they did not. They ran the ball way more than I anticipated in that game.
I'm not surprised because the NC State game that we watched, they were before they finally opened it up a little after the rain started. Stopped. I'm not that surprised. The running game worked on that long drive, touchdown drive.
It worked for the most part, but I feel like there were some moments that they needed to where they needed to air it out. I think the first half they needed to air it out more.
Yeah, it was too conservative.
Yeah, and that was a problem.
And I do not trust that conservative offensive play caller.
No,
I do not.
And I think Notre Dame could be one of the best teams in the nation, but they play so. Like, against Ohio State, they played... Like, Freeman at the beginning was like, let's be aggressive. We're going to be aggressive. You weren't very aggressive. That was very, hey, control the clock. We're going to do things... We're going to control the game, control the clock, win the game. That's not aggressive. Aggressive is going going at the weak points, which I think the secondary is very weak at Ohio State. And Ohio State did obviously show that they're still not very physical on the line.
Right, because that drive that...
two drives in the second half where they just dominated them. But that's an Ohio State flaw. You can keep the flaw there, but you could have to show your being able to pass the ball and be aggressive at moments and keeping them on their toes. And Notre Dame didn't do that. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it against Duke either.
I really wish Notre Dame would have beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
That would make me feel a lot better about this game.
Yeah.
I do think Duke's the better team, though. I think they're better, which is crazy to say after I think Notre Dame was better than Ohio State. I think the quarterback is a toss-up. It could go either way. Duke will grind it out. They'll use his legs a lot in this game, too. Riley Leonard's legs.
I think Notre Dame has just a little bit more talent. I do think this game's close because it's one of those things. You go out, play Ohio State, and go on the road to play Duke. That's going to be tough to do because
you know who Notre Dame plays after this game too?
USC.
No, Louisville.
Oh, Louisville. Oh, wow.
Jesus, it's ridiculous.
Jesus, and then they got USC around that same block area. Wow.
Right.
So I mean, there's no let up for Duke or Notre Dame. No. They got to win this game to keep them around in the national championship talk. They win if they beat Duke, Louisville, and USC. I have no problem putting them in my 4. And then they beat Clemson, even though Clemson's struggling. That's still a great resume. And losing at 1 second against Ohio State by your own failures.
Yeah.
That's a playoff team in my mind. But
well, I think they lose this game anyway.
You think they lose this game?
Yes.
I think they bounce back. I think it's harder than what it is. I have it on my board. I might take it off now. Just for the simple fact that it's one of those games,
I didn't have it on my card, but I'm adding it to it now.
It's just one of those things where I'm going to keep it. I'll keep it, but
I got to back my boy, Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
I feel like, and it'll be a cool game for him too because more people watch Notre Dame than they do Clemson.
Yeah.
So it's going to be even better for him if
I
he
mean,
has a big game.
And it's on Saturday. I know it was a standalone game on Monday, so it was the only game on.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh yeah, watch it. But when you just saw Duke, Clemson, majority of those people were like, Clemson's gonna win.
Yeah, there's no need for me to watch it.
So now that they're ranked and it's on a Saturday prime time, and College Game Day is going to be there. It gives the incentive of people your non-favorite teams, and it's 6:30. The casual fans like, I want to watch some football at 6:00. What's the game? And it's on ABC. Oh, it's Duke Notre Dame, and you get the Notre Dame fans coming in and watch it. So yeah, I think this is a
Heisman game for him.
I think this
Heisman
is
game.
Heisman conversation. I'll say. Gets them into the conversation.
Yeah, you win this game.
Yeah.
Shit, how high doesn't Duke will go if they win this game?
Almost top 10.
Right.
Maybe top 10.
So
the other 6:30 game, Tennessee's trying to get revenge on South Carolina. I
think Tennessee sucks.
I do think Tennessee stinks, but I don't think South Carolina's that good either. And we're not Spencer Rattler riders like everyone.
I'm gonna mark this off. I had this on my card, but I can't do it.
You can't?
I cannot go with Spencer Rattler on the road.
I was going to go South Carolina.
I was too.
But I looked at that's just such. I don't know what Vegas gave us in this number.
11.5.
It's just
South Carolina could just win straight up. I think they actually are probably these teams aren't that far off.
No, but I just don't like. I'm tired of betting South Carolina every week. It feels like I think I haven't missed a week of South Carolina betting. I bet against them week one. I think I've hit every South Carolina bet.
Well, shit. Maybe you should bet it then.
I don't like the number. I'm gonna wait. I'll wait till Saturday because that number's gonna change for sure. There's no way that number stays at 11.5.
Like honestly, for the purposes of the podcast, I don't have it. I will not put it on my card. But by that time at 6:30,
yeah, I'll probably add it.
Yeah,
you'll see my Twitter where I add it because that number 11.5 is gonna change. I think it'll go. I think people are still high on Tennessee. It should go down, but I think people are high on Tennessee.
You think it's going to go up? No way. I see it being like the lowest. I think it'll go down to 10.5.
I think it goes the other way. I think it goes to 13. 12 and a half.
Okay. You got to go down a point. I got to go up a point. I think more people will be betting South Carolina.
No.
Okay.
I think the other way. I still think people are believing Joe. I've already said Joe Milton was dead after the Florida game.
Mm-hmm.
I still think he's dead. I might just moneyline South Carolina.
There you go. Do that. That'll be a nice little play too. Pay out really well.
I might moneyline them. I'll probably do it Saturday though.
Yeah.
But
I might ride with you on that too.
Because I don't think Joe Milton as much as we don't like Rattler and we think he's not that good, he's better than Joe Milton. And Tennessee doesn't have anything that makes me go, oh, they're a top 21 team.
They don't have the receivers like they used to.
No. Milton just throws a deep ball well. Cool. He doesn't throw anything intermediate or like if you throw a bullet 20 yards the same as you throw it 3 yards, you have no touch. You don't know how to do field. So I do think South Carolina has a good chance.
Yeah, I might go money line too later on. Just because I really do not think Tennessee's that good.
No, I don't think they're that good this year. I think they should start bringing in the freshmen. I said it after the Florida game, and
it'll be next year. They're riding this year out. Next year's the year for Tennessee.
Yes,
this year is just the ride.
Get them in there already. Like get them in the system. Get them to play. And
get the red shirt. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. They'll probably leave, but
yeah. Ugly game in Virginia Tech.
Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech. See, look at all these ugly games, man. Pitt, Bob Tech.
Ugly game.
That's a rivalry game, isn't it? Black Diamond Bowl.
It might.
Black Diamond? Or is that West Virginia? Damn.
It probably is a rivalry, though. We had a sneaky good 7 o'clock game on ESPN2. West Virginia, TCU.
Yeah.
TCU's 12.5 point favorites over under 52. I'll say this. Like I said the week before, I think just because they lost to Colorado, everybody just thinks TCU's bad. I think TCU is good. I think... What? Oh. No. It's not plugged in.
Oh my god. Because I was like looking at it, I was like the dots and
We're fine. Relax. We're fine. I still think TCU is a good team. I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we said last week.
Yeah,
big on TCU.
I still think TCU could be a top 25 team. West Virginia won the last 2 games at home. They're not the different team from home on the road.
Man, I would like to say screw Vegas because they kept giving me that 55 numbers for these West Virginia Big 12 kind of games, and now they dropped it to 52. So screw them for that because I told them I would take the unders if they keep giving me the 55 numbers in these games.
Well, they learned that the defense is good.
Yeah, I know. Fuck them for learning that because now I can't take it. TCU, like I'm a big. I've always been a Chandler Morris guy. Looks really good. He's kind of Manzelis.
He kind of just goes off the cliff of I gotta do
Run
my
around,
own thing.
yeah.
And they
It's
lost
fun.
to Colorado because of that. And
He's fun to watch, though. Fun to watch. West Virginia's, like I said, I don't know if they could win on the road. I thought,
they're just not a road team. Morgantown's different than
yeah.
Well, there's a different West Virginia team at home than there is on the road.
But if Neil Brown wins this, does that mean he's officially off the hot seat, though?
I mean, if he wins this,
If he wins this, does he off?
Not only he's got to get bowl eligible. I'll say that. If he gets bowl eligible, I think the seat gets a little cooler. And not if they win this game, he'll be up for coach of the. He's in the discussion. He's in the discussion for coach of the year for me.
Oh, well, that's wild.
It's not wild. I thought he should be fired last year.
I told you West Virginia. Well, it's still early, but I was big on West Virginia with the talent they kept coming back on their offensive line and their Donaldson at running back.
I'll say this: it was more shocking that they beat the fact that Pitt's as bad as like the 2 teams that they beat, Pitt and Tech, are worse than what anticipated.
Right. I think exactly. That's the problem is that they are not as good as what people thought coming in, especially me coming into the year.
Now TCU is still good. They don't have that many injuries. I think TCU wins this game easily.
I agree 100% with that.
It's just a game 3-1 matchup. 7:00, 8:00. Alabama goes to Starksville, plays Mississippi State 14.5. Mississippi State stinks.
They're bad.
They're horrible.
All that talent coming back. That's all I heard all offseason. They have a bunch of talent coming back.
I said they have talent coming back, and I did say that. That majority of the team, their offense is horrifically bad to watch. Will Rogers is bad.
Yeah.
He is bad.
I think they struggle scoring points against Bama. And like we said, Mississippi State doesn't have home field advantage really because it's not great.
And it's 8:00. Good God.
I've seen Bama go in there and murder them multiple times.
I don't think I've had one Mississippi State game feel close against Bama.
No, I don't remember it. People over exaggerated how bad Bama was against South Florida.
I think Bama's good still.
Bama didn't look great against Ole Miss. To be honest, like Milroe threw that awful interception in the corner of the end zone where he had somebody open and fucking threw it to somebody else instead in that corner. But Bama's like, from what we've seen, is
Bama's better than Mississippi State, and they'll be fine in this game. Mississippi State stinks.
It's kind of a get right game for Bama.
Yeah,
the Ole Miss one was a big game. Now they play Mississippi State. It's not as big, and they pretty much second home. Yeah, they probably scored in the past.
Oh God, it's been murderish.
It's been bad.
It's been really bad. Then the 9:00 game. I mean, Washington goes down to Tucson, Arizona. It's a red out. Red out, and
all right.
That's how that red out's going to be bad.
Hey, in the desert, this is where Heisman hopes go to die.
It's only on a Thursday night.
You needed this Thursday?
Yeah. Arizona's a plus 18-point dog over under 67.5.
Washington.
I'm hoping for a competitive game, but right now this offense that Washington has thrown out every week, it's a bullet that nobody can stop.
I was gonna say it's like the old dude from Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah, the villain.
Yeah, what was the model number? T whatever it is. That's who they're like.
Isn't it T2?
Is it T? No, that's the title of the movie Terminator 2, but I don't know if that's the prototype of that robot that he was.
Isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger the original?
Yes, but I don't know what the model number is on that shit. Yeah,
We're
but
just-
Robert Patterson pretty much, or not Robert Patterson. It is Patterson something, though, isn't it?
I don't know.
The actor's name?
Yeah, the actor's name.
Yeah, X-Files.
It's just
Well, replaced David Duchovny for a little bit.
I don't know how Arizona's going to stop that offense.
Nobody knows until you do it. You can do it.
We can't stop the run.
They don't like running the ball. That's a good thing.
They ran against Cal last week, and if you could get if Washington just gets a little small, if they get 100 yards on running, that's 500 passing yards.
Oh yeah.
The equivalent because it keeps them balanced. Like if they get 100 yards rushing, that defense then has to stay balanced, and then it forces you not to play coverage against them.
And if you're fucked with the receivers they have, they make plays
and
all day.
There's not one receiver that doesn't make any amazing catch, any jumping catch, any route for Washington. Washington right now is a offensive juggernaut.
Yes.
That you're just trying to hope they make their own mistakes. And that's pretty much what happened last year. Penix made the mistakes at UCLA, and the defense wasn't. The defense is a lot better than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to hope Penix makes the mistakes for you. And right now he's not.
Arizona has a better quarterback than they would have had if they played this game last week, though. Delores.
No, Delores probably going to start.
No, he isn't.
He's questionable.
Yeah, Delores is not starting this game. The quarterback, what's his name that you had come in to replace him?
Fafita or whatever, Fafita.
He plays within the system, looked really good. Ride you back against Stanford.
That was one drive.
He gets a whole week of practice now. He's about to light it up. You guys are going to straight up pull off a miracle in the desert, and people will be freaking out that Washington finally lost the game. Shit happens wild in the desert. So can't wait to enjoy this game on the Pac-12 network. Great job.
Great job. ESPN, this can't be your Pac-12 at night after dark. Like they wanted to throw this to the shit 12. Nobody's gonna watch this game either.
No.
You can't even watch it.
No, that's why this is going to be a close game, because no one will watch it, and then late night people will be looking for a game to watch. They'll be like, oh, Arizona's winning? Oh, late night Pac-12 shit happening after dark? It's going to be great. You're going to be so pumped. You're going to beat Washington. I'm
going to watch it. I'm not expecting much. Red out. I'm hoping we can win.
Doesn't Yost need a big win?
Huh?
Ned Yost needs a big win, right?
You mean Jeb Fish?
Jeb Fish. Who am I saying Ned Yost for?
I feel for some reason you're talking about the Alabama head coach of basketball, Nate Oates.
Nate Oates? No, Ned Yost is somebody else too.
I don't know. Jeb Fish. He's not going to get it here.
Not going to storm the field. See, this is why, this is season where upsets happen. It's right around here. You think everything's just going to go chalk the whole way?
No.
This is not a chalk week. Michigan on the road. Georgia on the road. Washington on the road. Who else we got on the road? That's about it. In the top.
I'm not saying it's going to be chalk, but
So one of these teams is going down. What do you think the chances are one of the teams going down? Washington, Michigan, Georgia. They all just going to straight up win? Or none of the games are going to be close at least?
I think they'll be close. I think Nebraska's going to be closer than
out of all of them, you're going the Nebraska one being close? No way. I say you guys in Washington.
Spread wise, we have a shot. If you're doing gambling wise, I'd probably give bank on us.
On the money line picks out of the three, if you had to pick a money line on the three picks, Auburn.
I'd go us because our offense is better than all three of the other two.
Okay.
But that's the only reason why.
Okay.
But
I think anybody that's bold out there, take a shot on a money line pick on either Auburn, Washington, or Nebraska.
Right.
Why not? Have some fun. Gambling's supposed to be fun. Have some fun. Root for an underdog. Feel like an idiot when they're getting blown out in the second quarter, but you know what?
Yeah.
Have some fun with it.
You ready to get in your gambling picks? Gambling.
Great transition to where I'm under 500 for a reason.
Yeah, the gambling time.
Right.
You want me to go first since my card's a little bit lower?
Either way, that's fine. Go ahead. I guess you have the better record, so the one with the better record goes first, right?
I'm 35, 32, and 2.
Nice.
We'll start off with a little. I think this is Friday night. I got Louisville -3. I have.
Make sure you say the opponent.
They're playing NC State.
Okay.
Or whatever. I have Utah covering the 3 against Oregon State. I have in parentheses Cam Rising,
Okay.
but I'm just going to roll with it even if he doesn't play.
Okay.
I have BYU +2. I don't.
Going back to that Oregon State Utah game right quick, weren't you the one giving me the spiel on how good Oregon State is, and then you're not even taking them at home? You gave me that spiel last week on the podcast.
I said Oregon State is probably going to win at home, but once they gave Oregon State the actual favorite to win, you got to flip it.
Okay. All right.
I got BYU +2. I don't think they're going to lose at home. I have Syracuse +6.5. I have the A&M Arkansas over 54.5. I have Arkansas State money line over UMass.
Oh, okay.
I don't think UMass should be
Well,
favored.
it's a 1 point spread anyway, so
Yeah,
okay.
but I don't think UMass should be favored at any time in their life.
Yeah.
I have the over 62 in the Texas-Kansas game.
Well, don't trust the defense, huh?
I just think
I've been telling you the
I
past
know.
3 weeks, and
I
you
know.
just don't trust the defense. All right. Have to see it to believe it.
I have Georgia 14.5. I have Mizzou 13.5. Oh, Georgia over Auburn.
Right.
And then I have Mizzou -13.5 over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, there's no.
Didn't
hope.
they backdoor cover against Kentucky last week? I think they did.
Well, they don't care.
Okay.
They ain't Vanderbilt. It's 3:00.
This is the game when you bet on Missouri and then you talk shit about them for not covering because you'd be like, fuck your Missouri team and fuck Brady Cook.
It's 3
This is
o'clock.
the
Here,
game.
it's 3:00.
Is this the first time you bet on Missouri in 2 years?
No, I bet on them last year.
Against who?
I don't know.
You hated them.
I do, yeah, because I bet on them and they didn't cover. This is a 3:00 game in Nashville, Tennessee. And there's not a soul gonna be there.
Mizzou fans will have a nice trip in
Yeah,
Nashville.
Mizzou fans are gonna be there, but there's not a soul in that stadium.
Man, great traveling for Missouri in the back-to-back games. They got to go to St. Louis. Now they get to go to Nashville. They're just hitting up nice little Midwestern cities. Southern. I don't know
Yeah.
that you consider Midwestern Southern.
I got Georgia State -1.
Georgia State -1?
Yeah, Georgia State over Troy.
Okay.
I'm going to switch it. I had Tennessee -11.5 because I didn't trust Rattler. But the more I talked about how much I think Joe Milton's dead, I'm going to go South Carolina.
With
money
the
line.
money line?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll throw it on my card. I have Notre Dame -6.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it on there. I question it now, but I'm not going to back out of it. I have Bama -14.5.
Is this, hold on. Do we consider this Duke Notre Dame game a big game?
Yeah.
So Sam Hartman's going to lose. He loses big games.
I have Bama -14.5. Don't let me down, Bama. Pretty much that's all I'm going to say. I don't. Mississippi State's god awful, all that good stuff. And my last one, and it's a tried tradition. Fresno State -24.5. I'm gonna ride them until you can't ride them no more.
The late night ones they always cover.
Yeah, they cover everything.
Yeah, very true.
They've been covering everything this year.
They have.
So why not keep it going?
It's a 4-0 team against an 0-4 team. That makes me nervous right off the
Well,
gambling
and
line.
it's at home. They're great at home.
That's true. Oh, okay. Wow. Shallow card for you.
I'll probably add some more during the Saturday slate, but
Okay, that's fine. Fair enough. Yeah, so awful week for me last week. Put me below 500. Unfortunately, I'm 32-1. Yeah, don't sound so happy about it. Fuck you.
had a good week last week.
All right, here we go. Plays of the week. I got Temple and Tulsa under 55.5. For some reason, I don't know. Just feeling it. Jacksonville State over Sam Houston. Give me the 6.5. Hopefully Rich Rod doesn't let me down. Got OSU.
Oregon State.
Oregon State with the -3. Got BYU +2. Give me money line then if it's 2. That's my picks on the weekdays. Hopefully I do well on those to get me to Saturday at 11. Got Kentucky money line against Florida. Talked about it earlier. I have Arkansas 6.5, but I'm gonna add the over to that also. So I'll probably have 2 plays on that. Actually, let me write that down right quick. Give me a Raging Cajuns plus 11 on the road against Minnesota. It's one of my gambling rules. Fucking Temple didn't work out last week, but Minnesota double-digit favorites. I don't like betting them. So give me Louisiana. Give me Boston College over Virginia.
Oh, you threw in the shake ball.
Yeah, I got to go back to what I know. Boston College's quarterback is actually all right. Virginia fucking sucks though. So give me that. Cal minus 12.5 over Arizona State. I think Arizona State's coming down off that kind of close game against USC. They busted out a bunch of tricks. Justin Wilcox will have the tape on it now. Shut this shit down. Fucking easy cover. Arkansas State riding with you over UMass. UMass shouldn't be favored over anyone. We saw that last week against New Mexico.
Yeah.
Give me Texas Tech minus 8 against Houston.
8.5.
8.5. Fine. Give me the hook on that too. Houston's awful. Like I've said all year, Dana Holgorsen doesn't give a fuck. I still believe Tech and Joey McGuire will find a way to bounce back. Give me ODU, Old Dominion against plus 14 against Marshall. Marshall just played a rivalry game. I didn't really see anything special to where they should be 14-point favorites at home. So, random one. LSU Ole Miss under 67. Keep betting these LSU unders. I'm like 1-1, I think. I really do believe Ole Miss's defense is actually kind of good. Give me a Georgia two-step, Georgia combo, Georgia Southern, 6.5 against Coastal Carolina. Tim Beck, fucking, he sucks as a head coach, so just give me that out of respect on that. And Georgia State over Troy. That Thursday night game against Coastal Carolina, like their offense a lot. Think they could score in Troy. Knock that off. TCU minus 12.5, right in with you on that. And then Bama 14.5. Zona plus 18. Got that on there too. And then I did add 2 more to my card when we were doing the podcast. I have Syracuse plus 6.5. And also to round it out, Duke plus 6.
All right.
So,
Well,
hopefully do better this time than last week. I'm feeling confident. We'll see how Thursday goes though.
yeah. Well, I'm just going to do it for the college football week 5 preview. A little bit longer than usual, but
A lot to get into, man. Last week was big.
yeah.
Got a whole bunch of shit going on. Oh shit! Next week's probably be light because I don't want to talk about the OU Texas game too much.
Yeah, we have to get through this week. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys.
Oh yeah, you're gonna. Well, whenever it's confirmed, it'll be the surprise and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see you guys for the NFL one, and see you guys for the recap.
Yeah, on Saturday night. Well, shit, we'll be watching the Washington Arizona game probably.
Yep. Later.
Later.